Oh, hey, Ryan Reynolds. Hey. Ryan Reynolds, how's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
If she had just not done anything this December, not filed these suits, we would all probably moved on. This wouldn't have been such a big deal. But now with lawsuits and texts and all the things that she put out there, Justin is allowed to defend himself. He has, and he's been doing a way better job than your maximum effort. You had to go show up to this show to your husband's ex's boyfriend or husband's show. My God, to go to Scarlett Johansson's house to try to save face amidst all these other celebrities. It is truly, truly embarrassing.
The SNL 50th anniversary was meant to be a celebration, but for Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, it quickly spiraled into a PR disaster. During the show, Ryan said something on stage that instantly turned a laughing crowd completely silent. Now, Hollywood insiders say major studios are quietly dropping the couple from major projects. With their Backlash-fueled $400 million lawsuit escalating, the industry is cutting ties fast. What was supposed to be a milestone night has become a nightmare.
This was a funny segment where they asked sort of random people, celebrities, and everybody who's everybody is in this room. And here it was.
Who else is a question?
I have a question.
Oh, hey, Ryan Reynolds. Hey. Ryan Reynolds, how's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
I love the acting. She's really, what? Have you heard something? Have you heard something?
When you saw, Ryan, make light of the situation, I guess, try to find some humor in all this.
I'm unaware of anybody, frankly, whose wife has been sexually harassed and has made jokes about that type of situation. I can't think of anyone who's done anything like that, and so it surprised me.
And it leads us to this moment.
It is absolutely surprising. He's spot on and wisely calling it out for what it is. And apparently now comfortable doing some more interviews, given that, Blake and Ryan are out there on one of the biggest stages, addressing, sort of alluding to it when they're trying to tell everyone to stop talking or stop defending themselves. They're allowed to go out on the red carpet and play like their brand is fine. Just that's really what's bugging me about this. Walking out like, oh, have you heard something? What's going on? You know exactly what's going on. And there's a lot of question and confusion and frustration due to what your wife's behavior was. The way your wife took over that movie was shameful. And never because he's a harasser. No, everything I'm gathering, the truth of this story, it seems to be Blake sensed she had a hit on her hands. And as soon as that happened, she took over. Complete control of that movie, brought in A-list producer, everybody else, and steamrolled the entire production from Justin.
It all began with what seemed like a harmless moment on the SNL 50th anniversary special. Tina Fey and Amy Poehler were hosting a lighthearted segment when they casually turned to Ryan Reynolds and asked, "Ryan, how's it going?" No one, in the studio or watching at home, was prepared for what came next. With a nervous glance and a strange smile, Ryan responded, "Great. Why? What have you heard?" The room, initially bubbling with laughter, fell into a tense silence. What sounded like a joke was anything but. It was a loaded comment, a direct reference to the $400 million. Lawsuit drama swirling around him and Blake Lively behind the scenes. The cameras cut to Blake's face in real time, and the reaction was unmistakable. Her polished red carpet smile instantly disappeared, replaced with a kind of frozen expression that spoke volumes. Her eyes narrowed, locked on Ryan with icy precision. Anyone watching could feel the tension. Her thoughts practically screamed, "Are you seriously doing this right now?" The energy in the room shifted. What had been a star-studded celebration turned into something cold, awkward, and very public. The camera panned the crowd. Steven Spielberg shifted uncomfortably. Taylor Swift looked down at her phone. Kevin Hart's trademark grin faded into stunned disbelief. The audience wasn't just witnessing an awkward moment, they had become unwilling. Participants in the unraveling of Hollywood's golden couple? Sensing he had stepped into dangerous territory, Ryan attempted a quick pivot. "Hey, speaking of weird situations," he stammered, If someone hypothetically took a couple nibbles of those conehead props backstage, should they go to the hospital? The joke fell flat. Not a chuckle, just dead air. The moment was more than was catastrophic. What viewers didn't realize at the time was that this wasn't just a live TV flop. It was career suicide in real time. Industry insiders say that moment was the final straw for several major studios, already growing uneasy about working with the pair. They're too unpredictable, too high risk to invest in, confessed one executive who witnessed the fallout. Firsthand, when you're talking about backing talent with $100 million budgets, you can't afford that kind of liability. The backlash came fast and without mercy. Within 48 hours, 3 major projects featuring the couple were quietly put on hold. First to go was Ryan's much-anticipated Apple TV Plus Christmas musical, already deep in pre-production. Next was Blake's Amazon-backed fashion series, which had been announced just weeks earlier. Most shocking of all was the suspension of their joint romantic comedy, which had already secured international distribution. Behind the scenes, their team scrambled. Crisis PR firms were called in the middle of the night. Emergency meetings with studio executives were arranged. Carefully crafted statements were drafted, but it was too little, too late. Hollywood's elite had seen the mask slip, and they weren't going to forget it. I was in a room with 3 major producers when the clip started making the rounds, said an anonymous source from CAA. Meetings with Reynolds were being canceled while the video played. One exec literally said, "I'm not touching this mess with a 10-foot pole." The SNL debacle wasn't just a bad night, it opened a Pandora's box. Whispers that had circulated privately for years about the couple's off-camera behavior began surfacing publicly. Former colleagues spoke out. Executives began trading stories. Incidents that had once been brushed off were suddenly being reevaluated in a much less forgiving light. The glittering image of Blake and Ryan, once the industry's favorite power couple, was now in freefall.
Baldoni and his production company are suing Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, along with her publicist, for $400 million. We'll give you all the details on that. And then we'll be getting to Liam Payne's friend, Roger Norris, is suing Liam's dad for defamation. We'll tell you all about that. And lastly, we haven't heard from Wendy Williams in quite some time, but she did an interview and she talked about how she feels trapped in her conservatorship, and she's describing her life as being messed up. Woo!
This is a lot, and they're heavy stories too. We don't have any light palate cleansers. These are all big deal.
2025 is not starting off well. No. I want out. All right, let's get into it. So Justin Baldoni and his production company Wayfair, they are suing Blake Lively. We knew this was coming. Remember, Blake Lively originally filed her own documents coming after Justin. Well, now Justin is kind of putting out his side, and boy, he came out swinging.
He really did. He's had his lawyer, was on TMZ Live, Brian Friedman, who is like a very aggressive lawyer. He's been Pitbull on Justin's behalf, said the way this has been framed in the media is absolutely unfair to his client. He thinks the New York Times was fed a bunch of lies by Blake's people. And now he's showing all the receipts. This thing was a 180-page lawsuit, and it's got everything.
Behind that painfully awkward SNL moment was a far more explosive truth. The $400 million lawsuit Ryan Reynolds so casually joked about on stage wasn't some minor legal hiccup. It was packed with allegations that could permanently reshape how Hollywood views its once favorite couple. The lawsuit filed by director Justin Baldoni wasn't just about creative disputes or on-set tension. The legal documents exposed what insiders described as a disturbing pattern of systematic bullying and manipulation by both Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. The couple's carefully crafted public image began to unravel as the lawsuit gained traction. Blake's PR machine went into crisis mode. Suddenly, anonymous sources started appearing in major outlets like the New York Times, painting Baldoni as difficult, erratic, and the root of the conflict. It was a textbook Hollywood smear campaign. Deflect, distract, and destroy. But Baldwin's legal team had come prepared. In a stunning count move, they released what one industry veteran called a nuclear bomb of receipts, a trove of emails, texts, and internal documents directly linking those anonymous sources to Blake's own PR reps. The evidence was so compelling that several outlets quietly issued retractions. Public sympathy began shifting. Then came an even darker revelation. The lawsuit alleged that Blake and Ryan had hosted a secret meeting in their Manhattan penthouse attended by several high-level studio executives where Baldwin's career was openly discussed. Multiple witnesses claimed Ryan launched into a vicious tirade, belittling Baldone in front of the group. His behavior was described as aggressive, humiliating, and deeply unprofessional. Point one executive, who he's present, later admitted the incident left them physically uncomfortable and deeply concerned about the couple's mental state. But the strangest detail came next. Ryan had allegedly created a parody character named Nice, a thinly veiled mockery of Baldoni, using Deadpool's trademark fourth-wall-breaking humor to publicly humiliate the director. This wasn't just petty, it was a weaponized franchise being used for personal vendettas. As the legal firestorm intensified, so did the financial consequences. Court filings revealed that Blake and Ryan had already lost an estimated $75 million in canceled deals, with projected losses possibly reaching $200 million if the Hollywood freeze-out continued. This isn't just one bad project, said a former studio executive, who requested anonymity. This lawsuit exposed a toxic pattern. No major studio wants to gamble on that kind of liability. The case also created a no-win situation for the couple's former colleagues. Many industry professionals who had long-standing relationships with Blake and Ryan suddenly found themselves caught in the crossfire. Most chose silence rather than risk their own reputations by defending them, a damning reflection of how much the tide had turned. But perhaps the most damaging fallout was cultural. The lawsuit opened the floodgates for years of suppressed stories. Former co-stars, crew members, and insiders, many of whom had stayed quiet out of fear or loyalty, now felt empowered to speak up. What started as a single lawsuit quickly snowballed into a full-blown reckoning. And for Hollywood's once beloved power couple, it may be the kind of reckoning no amount of PR spin can fix.
She sensed that she might finally have a hit movie, which, let's be fair, she hasn't had. She doesn't have a Deadpool. She kind of lost it and had to be meticulously controlling every piece of the movie, which was not her place to do. And then in order to get so, hijacked the movie, threatened everybody, got involved, over-exaggerated complaints. And then when the movie was a hit, but she wasn't seen as a hit, she was seen as the problem, that's when everything went south. She then assumed it was Justin retaliating, which it wasn't. And that's when she couldn't resist. If she had just not done anything this December, not filed these suits, we would all probably moved on. This wouldn't have been such a big deal. But now with lawsuits and texts and all the things that she put out there, Justin is allowed to defend himself. He has, and he's been doing a way better job than your maximum effort. You had to go show up to this show to your husband's ex's boyfriend or husband's show. My God, to go to Scarlett Johansson's house to try to save face amidst all these other celebrities. It is truly, truly embarrassing. Now, again, why they did this, PR experts are chiming in. This expert to me was completely ill-informed. Well, if they didn't show up, people would have thought it was weird since they both hosted. They both didn't host, and nobody was asking, where's Katie Holmes, and where's The Rock, and there's been thousands of people who've hosted this show over 50 years. We weren't asking where every single person was. So no, there was no expectation that Blake Lively needed to be there from the 2009 hosting gig. I think everyone would have been okay if Ryan and Blake sat this one out, but they didn't. They showed up to try to make light, to sort of poke fun and seem likable and see everything's cool, guys, right? No, that's